The Nintendo 64 versus the PlayStation 1. Which was better? Obviously, sales-wise, it goes to the PlayStation 1, but when it comes to the overall core of the systems, which one was a better overall system? Starting off, we have the game library, which I think absolutely goes to the Nintendo 64. Mainly because the Nintendo 64 had no third-party support, so it was a lot of first-party or second-party games. So there was a lot of great games on this thing, like Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, there's Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye 007. While on the PS1, there's a lot of fantastic games, like Metal Gear, there's Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, but for every one of those games, there was some game that wasn't as good as the others, like Gubble or Asteroids. There's just a lot of weirder games on the PS1 that just aren't as great as what we got in the Nintendo 64. But then there's the way the games look, which obviously this one has to go to the PS1. PlayStation discs could hold way more memory than the Nintendo 64's cartridges ever could, so a lot of the games look absolutely fantastic on the thing. Like, Gran Turismo is probably one of the best looking PS1 games, and I just absolutely love looking at the way that it looks. But in addition to this, I think just it looks a lot more polished. Like, Mario 64 looks polished, but it doesn't look as great as like Crash Bandicoot games or Spyro the Dragon, and I honestly really do believe that. And that's why this one goes to the PS1. And finally, looking at the overall console designs, I think this one goes to the Nintendo 64. When it comes to the base design like this, I really do love the way it looks. I think it's way more recognizable than the PS1, and just the overall aesthetic that they decided to go with for the system looks absolutely fantastic. But in addition to this, there was a lot of different console designs they decided to go with, I should say. Like, there was a bunch of different neon colors that you were able to choose from that were translucent, and those were just some of the most unique consoles that have ever existed. While when it comes to the PS1, there was the base kind of square design, and then there was the actual PS1 right here. But I just think this is less recognizable than the Nintendo 64. So overall, I think the Nintendo 64 wins and is a better system as a core, but that mostly goes behind one of those things that Scott the Woz says, to where if you put a bunch of people that played on the Nintendo 64 in a room, they're all going to probably have played the same games. They're all going to have played games like Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Banjo-Kazooie, stuff like that. While if you put a bunch of PlayStation 1 players in a room, they're all going to have played different games. They maybe played Gran Turismo, Metal Gear, Doom. They're maybe played Resident Evil, and then there's going to be the other audience within the PS1 that maybe played the more kidder games like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. There's just so much variety when it comes to the people that played the PS1 rather than the Nintendo 64.